Saints beat the Bears 21-9. Chicago embarrasses themselves on Nickelodeon. I've had a few beers. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Sports from the Couch.
I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
With your host, Mike Mercado.
Players cannot stand them. Coaches cannot stand them. Most importantly, the fans can't stand them.
Brought to you by Mercado Airwaves.
I'm gonna say it once, and hopefully I'm wrong, but it's a disaster waiting to happen.
That is so bad, that is absolutely brutal.
Hey, then you get to run a route on the next play. That's what you get to do, Jim.
Yeah, they snap it, they get it back to him. Montgomery taking the snap, Trubisky launching it, right back to Wims, and he drops a touchdown! The pass was perfect. What a play!
My gosh, he's wide open by himself. He just made the hard catch, and now the easy one. It's right there. He's got no one. I mean, the defender's on the ground. You see Williams there.
All right, friends, let's get right into this. The Chicago Bears lose to the New Orleans Saints 21-9 in New Orleans, and it was just a piss-poor performance. I don't even know what else to say at this point. We are recording this on January 10th, 2021, right after the NFC wildcard matchup between New Orleans and Chicago. First of all, thank you guys so much for making us a part of your day. And that is the only thing I think you could say as a Bears fan at this point right now is the frustration of this team and what they put on display tonight in the playoffs. Now, let's talk about just some. We don't have to get into stats. You guys know how I feel about that. If you want to hear anything in that realm, you have different shows for it. You have things on ESPN. You have a phone. You have Google. Okay? What we saw tonight is the only case that needs to be shown why everybody needs to be gone after this season. By midnight tonight, we should already be hearing reports or tweets, anything from Adam Schefter saying Bears are talking to Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace moving forward with new management, new coaching into the offseason. Look, you can only make so many mistakes. How many times have the Bears been in the playoffs with Matt Nagy? How many times have they had horrible performances? Have put themselves in positions where they're losing games because not only are they not prepared, they are undisciplined. These are grown men. From Anthony Miller to what we see from Cole Kmet, which was Bush League, from the refs, but it's just this idea of constantly putting yourselves in position to look bad. Eddie Jackson, first of all, at this point with Eddie Jackson, who is getting paid a lot of money, right, and earned that money for the season he was good. But anytime you heard his name, it was never for a good reason. Whenever you're being singled out like that in a broadcast, it's never for anything good. Especially on defense. Everybody needs to be gone at the end of this. Look at, where was Jimmy Graham in this game? The guy that you spent a lot of money right when the offseason started. Where was Allen Robinson, your number one? How come your David Montgomery workhorse that has helped you get into this position really doesn't get any run in this game? How come you're not moving the pocket? Why are you not doing anything that got you in this position? For a team that literally has everything to lose, walked around as if this is a team that's won 6 Super Bowls in 10 years. Again, acting like they won that game against Philadelphia with a double doink. We could talk about the Wims play all day. I mean, look, this is the same dude who probably shouldn't have been in the roster after what happened against this Saints team. Taking a bunch of sucker punches. You could not drop that ball in this game with your quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky needs every ounce of help and energy that this special team, these special core, these guys that walk out there with all this swag, they need to perform. They need to pick up their guy. They didn't. And not only didn't they pick him up, that play cost them the game. In the first half, in the first quarter, the game was over. That is judgment enough for everybody to be gone. The coaching staff never catered the offense for these guys, for these specialty players, for Mitch Trubisky, for this offensive line. They never made things right. The GM needs to go. From giving Nick Foles money, from giving Mike Glennon money, from passing on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, for putting every bit of draft capital and money on the defense that lets you down. And not even necessarily this game. They just broke in this game. You can only keep New Orleans in check so long. But time after time again, this defense broke you, cost you games. He's got to go. And Mitch has got to go. I don't want to see one-year contracts. I don't want to see franchise tags. I don't want to see, we got him on a good deal. He's got to go. He seems like a good enough dude. I hope he gets an opportunity somewhere else. I hope that he does develop into a good quarterback, that he does do something somewhere else. But he and everything that is a resemblance of whatever Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace had planned out needs to go. Chuck Pagano needs to be gone by 7:30 Chicago time. It was downright embarrassing. And even all you diehard super fans that love this Bears team and can find a bunch of different reasons and excuses, there's none. There's none. There's not a bright spot. There's not something to look forward to. You know, when a team has a draft pick, right, when they're like trying to rebuild, most fan bases have this excitement to them, right? Why? Because they might hit on somebody good. This might be the one. They might have just found their future. Do you feel that way with Ryan Pace making another draft pick for your team? Do you think at this point, when 2021 season rolls around, that Matt Nagy is going to develop somebody? Since this regime has been together, who has become a superstar on this team? Who have they developed? Other than the superstar they traded the house for and the wide receiver they brought in, nobody within has developed. And the little glimpses we've gotten of David Montgomery, they sure as hell have done everything they can in this coaching staff to snuff that away. It has been a total failure from top to bottom in this organization. There needs to be drastic change. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about ownership and talk about the family members and the executives. You can't. Because you know nothing's going to change there. Why would it? Everything's a profit. Everything is good. This is garbage. What happened? But, you know, I know a lot of people club dub really just rub people the wrong way. This team came on fire. I'm going to give them the eulogy. And we'll definitely do more of that probably tomorrow on Monday's edition of the show. This is definitely just a reaction to what happened right away after this playoff game. Some other thoughts I wanted to get into. The club dub thing, when I'm thinking this team just comes out of nowhere, wins 12 games, gets bounced out of the double doink, and finishes 8-8, 7-9 last year, whatever the case may be. This year, 8-8, get into the playoffs because of COVID, an extra playoff spot, embarrasses themselves, a random touchdown with no time left to Jimmy Graham from the score being 3 to 31 to 9 and to 9 to 21, such a Bears thing for them to basically do the backdoor cover of 10.5. Garbage. So they have this swag. This defense walks around, does a lot of talking. That's the one thing. You can talk. You can have swag. I love it in other sports, right? We love it in all sports. But you got to deliver. And this defense, these guys Constantly the talking, the tweeting. Nobody believes in us. This, and that. And they're getting dumb penalties. They're doing dumb things. They're playing like crap. And this is supposed to be an elite defense. It's not. I don't even think it's a good defense. I think a lot of it is this New Orleans team isn't as good as people think this New Orleans team is. At least as good as they were hoping they would be. Some other stuff from the game. Look, the NFL is hyped. The referees in this game are horrible. And I don't blame referees. Again, I know a lot of super fans like to, the refs are costing them this and they're one-sided. Look, it was a bad day for the Zebras in this game. It just was. And it doesn't help where we know now that the NFL is getting the super game of the week they wanted with the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. It's perfect for them. So, yeah, it's easy to say the NFL is getting what they want. They are. But it's also the Bears versus Packers doesn't do anything for anybody. Did you want to see that game? Look at what we just saw. This is the point. It was fool's gold. They gave you a turd and told you it was a pudding. I'm angry that I'm angry that Nickelodeon and the kids had to watch this. And, shout out to Nickelodeon for being friendly and being, a really awesome entrance point and like a comfy place for people and kids to introduce themselves to the NFL and to football. And it was fun, so I hope they do more of that. I would love to see more of that around other sports too. Baseball, basketball, WNBA. I think that would be really, really cool. At this point, right now, as we're heading into the last game of Super Wildcard Weekend, there's a lot of disappointment, frustration going on with this Bears team. And I posted this all over social media. And, it's half and just, but simply for embarrassing themselves the way they did on Nickelodeon. Everyone needs to hire. Seriously, Mitch, Nagy, Pace have to go. You have to trade and recut players on defense for cents on the dollar, which Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. You're not going to get anything for them, any value for them like you're seeing with the Cubs. Not getting any value for anybody. You're not. They're on the back end, the downside of their age and their windows, and you're not going to get any value back for them. But you have to do it. You have to burn the whole thing down. You invested every dollar and draft capital on defense. Gave money to Glennon and Foles while passing on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. The ultimate sin. Something that nobody should forgive you for in terms of football and your job security. You didn't pay Allen Robinson. Didn't negotiate with him. So what was the plan moving forward? What was the grand scheme if you somehow kept your job to help out this below average quarterback who you never created your offense to cater to your garbage QB? Again, no offense to Mitch Trubisky. Probably have a career 10 years in the NFL as a backup and or starter throughout it because we know how the NFL is. And it also took way too long to get your running back in the game plan. Trash. #Bears. That's the regime. That has been the 3 years of this organization, of this team, of one of the charter franchises of the biggest sporting league in North America. One of the most devoted fan bases in one of the most largest markets in the world. And this is what you get. They played 6 playoff teams or teams above 500, and they lost against all of them, except for Tampa Bay of all of them. Go figure, right? Simply put, they couldn't hang. This team couldn't hang. They didn't have the pieces. It was all for nothing. This organization tricked people. I keep saying it. It was fool's gold. And everybody fell for it. This new offense that was going to change everything between Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy. The new Sean McVays. And we're seeing screens on 3rd and 10. Little pinch and dumps and releases, right? Just look at the play calling. It was all bad. So now the question is, what happens moving forward? Where do we go? And I'm looking at just some responses. Sean Anderson, need a real rebuild. I believe Mac will get traded and save money and get picks. But who's going to give you picks and who's going to pay for the contract? You're paying for the contract, and you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get like a third, a second. Sure as hell not going to get a first-round pick for Khalil Mack. So where are you at that point? You're just trading him because you're just trying to make room for other guys to develop or to have room a few years down the road. This from Adam Mergens. The offensive guru tag should be taken very seriously going forward. Overused PR phrasing taught to players. Yeah, I mean, that's just it too. It wasn't just Mitch isn't a good quarterback. Compared to Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky, he's not as good a quarterback. But I do believe he's somebody who's going to be in the league for a while. So how much is it that we're blaming Mitch, which I do a lot, that has to go to Matt Nagy? I think a lot of it does. I was one of these guys who was a believer in the offense, believe in the scheme, just give it some time. That's all been wrong. He just isn't a good coach. They don't make the right adjustments, especially in game. Don't even talk about during a bye week or in between the week. They don't make adjustments at all. But in game, when the thing is happening in front of them, they don't make adjustments on offense or defense. So I could keep going on and on. I just wanted to jump on this Sunday and talk to you guys about this disappointing game between the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints as the New Orleans Saints move on in the NFC wildcard, moving to the divisional round. They beat the Chicago Bears 21-9. So this will be the post-game, kind of the instant reaction to the fallout of this. We'll see on Monday, January 11th, 2021. We're going to wait into the afternoon to do a show just to see if somebody gets fired. We'll see what happens and if any of the rumors have any real stakes in them. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Follow us all over the socials, Twitter, Mike and Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media. The show's on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. Like, rate, review, and shares wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. .com/Mercado Airwaves. Teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. And, of course, keep up to date with everything we're doing on the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the last playoff game of Super Wildcard Weekend. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.